Thank you for being here live, beautiful humans. I'm so excited for this. I'm gonna set the scene up front before I start talking. So, because I think it's worth sort of setting context. So, and it also helps you get inside like my head of like a business launch, a program launch. So I said in my email and stuff, I'm not selling anything. I'm just here to share, which is true. I'm only here to share today. But the reason I'm sharing this is so I'm really passionate about burnout. I'm really passionate about like self-worth and perfectionism and all these different things that lead us to like burn out. And so in January, I'm going to run this program. The working name is Business Without Burnout. It could well end up being called Business Without Burnout, but all I know at the moment, it's going to have these different mind, body, soul modules. So it will talk about why I burnt myself out in corporate, why I then burnt myself out when I first launched my business within 4 months, and how I've changed. Lots of different things about how I work so that I'm not burning myself out now. So I'm running my business as a projector. Chelsea's a fellow. In fact, Charlotte, you're a projector as well. I know Kitty, you're a manifestor. But yeah, so like running my business as a projector, not burning myself out, having this ease and flow. So it's going to have these different modules. It'll be like mindset, there'll be wealth, like money modules. There's going to be human design and astrology modules, and there's going to be like nutrition modules for the health elements. There's always going to be these different modules. And this masterclass was going to be part of the like selling process. So ahead of launching that program, I'm going to run a 3-part masterclass, which was going to touch on 3 different subjects within it. And this was going to be one of those. And it's been in my field for a while. And then last week, this clarity came through, is that this Business Without Burnout, whatever it ends up being called, isn't just going to be business owners. It's going to be for people in corporate as well. Because so many of the principles that led to me burning out in corporate are the principles that led me to burning out in my business. So there will be specific like business modules, like funnels and all that kind of this, systems, processes, but they're going to drop in as bonuses, like bonus modules if you're a business owner, and everything else is just going to be like, whether you're in corporate or not, this is all relevant. So our ability to receive, our self-worth, etc. So anyway, so I thought I'm not going to put that in that 3-day masterclass like funnel to sell up to my program, because not everybody's going to want solo line clients because they're not owning their own business. But it was really hot on my heart that I wanted to do it. So I'm running this as like a one-off. And what it's going to do is turn into my new lead magnet. So when you're here today and you're listening, I really want you to be in a place of receivership and not feeling like you need to make notes and stuff, because this is, as far as I'm concerned, it'll be around for 3-6 months long, however long I decide to have this as my lead magnet. This will become the thing that, you know, we use to get, if lead magnet, hopefully that makes sense to everyone, but if it doesn't, it's like the thing we use to get people on our email lists, because obviously we don't own our social media accounts. And if anything changes and we suddenly lose access to those people, we want a place to be able to communicate with our actual audience. So lead magnet gets people onto our email list. So yeah, this is going to turn into like an evergreen lead magnet. So please don't feel like, oh, this is, I mean, hopefully I'll say some gold, and don't be like, I've got to make loads of notes now because like this limited time, it's like you're going to have so long to watch this back. So today I really want you to be in a place of receivership, and you can watch it back anytime and make notes. What else did I want to say? Oh, and also this came through yesterday. Wasn't planning to do this, but if you are watching this live, or are you watching it within the first 72 hours, I'm going to edit, when it turns into a lead magnet, I'm going to edit and chop this bit out. So no one else is going to see this, by the way. I'm going to do a prize to win a 60-minute business intensive with me. So if you enjoy this space, if you want to win a 60-minute intensive with me, then screen grab any on your phone, or take a photo on your phone, any of the slides I share, or any way you want, but just like share to your stories and be like, this was gold, it was great, or this was shit, I don't recommend it. Like whatever you want to do, you can share and say what you want. And every time you share, you'll be dropped in, and that'll run for the next 72 hours while I just let the other people catch up, because we have got 30 people signed up. So hopefully some more people are going to watch the replay within those 72 hours. And yeah, so that's exciting. And I think that is all the housekeeping context stuff. So with that said, I'm going to jump in. So the reason this was going to go in like a burnout program was because, share my screen. working with non-soul aligned clients was a huge part of me burning myself out. Yeah, so bear with me. When I first launched my business, I launched as a nutritional therapist, for anyone that doesn't know. So I launched a business as a nutritional therapist, and I had a really strong why of why I wanted to launch my business. Sorry, hang on a minute. The thing isn't responding to me. My very first post, which I think I've archived now, said that I'm here to help high achieving women have it all. And I was like, I'm here to help high achieving women have it all because I really believe we can, but we can't if we haven't got our health. And I had this whole thing about like maintaining your health through the hustle. And it was all about like this, like people like forcing and burning themselves out. And yeah, basically like, I'm here to help you have it all by supporting your health. And what happened was, firstly, I worked with I did a business program. And as part of this business program, I got a free session with this business mentor. And so she was like asking about my story. And she'd said, why aren't you doing fertility? Because that's like a really big part of your story. And I was like, oh, I don't know. It's like not really my why, like helping people have babies. Like my why is really like the perfectionism, the burnout, the low self-worth, like all that stuff underneath that led to me having hypothalamic amenorrhea, which is losing your menstrual cycle. And I used to be anorexic when I was younger as well. So basically it's all linked. And it's like, it was more this stuff, like this go woman who like didn't know when to stop, didn't know how to ask for help, felt like she was always the strong one. Like, this is one of my things, I'm the strong one. And I used to like, I really started to recognize this when I started to join group coaching courses a couple of years ago. And they would like, you know, has anyone got anything they want to ask? Does anyone need any support? And I used to like hold myself back and never ask for help because I thought, I'm really strong, I can cope with this, I'll give someone else the floor. And this is one of the things. So yeah, anyway, this is like who I was really wanted. And she was like, and later found out that she was on a fertility journey. So this is quite funny. She was like, I think there'll be more money in fertility. So long story short, went into the fertility route. Was amazing. I feel really grateful I got to do that work. And I literally have a WhatsApp group of everybody who's like pregnant or had babies. And it was amazing. But it was never my why. And so essentially what I was doing was I was attracting in people who weren't soul aligned clients. And so often it felt heavy. My favorite clients that came through on a fertility journey were the ones who were completely burnt out, didn't know how to ask for help, low self-worth, all those things I've just talked about. So this is why I wanted to include, why I want to talk about this and why I was going to include this in the burnout program, is because when we're not working with people that are completely soul aligned clients, we find that we're burning ourselves out. So that's context. Quick intro, who am I? So I launched as a nutritional therapist and 17 years in business and marketing background. I used to be head of marketing for a lot of different retail brands in the UK, actually, but most recently, two really big retail brands, 45 million budget, managing 15 agencies, managing staff over 3 different locations, absolute workaholic, absolutely loved it. But I'm a projector, didn't quite work for me, working all those hours and doing all the things. But anyway, so I launched a business as a nutritional therapist. And then I had this business coaching thing on the side. And I used to do my business coaching thing on Facebook. And my Instagram account was all about nutrition. I didn't think I could merge it. It didn't in my head, I was like, oh no, I'm a nutritional therapist or I'm a business coach. And long story short, after working with my most recent mentor, Aisha of Oath Oracle, we did a lot of work with my astrology and human design. And she was like, I get why you're doing the nutrition because you're a Virgo rising and people are going to see you as that naturopath. But what I really see in your chart is like money, 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 business, 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 because I've got 5 Taurus placements. And Taurus is, it's like that slow, steady building of wealth. It's self-worth, it's resources, it's our values. It's also like luxury and stuff like that. I've got these 5 planets and then they're in the 8th house, which is the house of business. It's also like investments, debts, loans, partners, money, other different things. But she was like, there's just so many money codes and there's other money asteroids in my chart. And I was like, she was like, do you do business coaching? I was like, oh yeah, but I feel like it's like, you know, I can't really talk about it on Instagram because that's my nutrition thing. And it took a really long time. Like I had this session with her in October last year. And it took me a really long time to kind of acknowledge, like, this is what I'm meant here to do. I'm also a Gemini MC. So MC is like our like legacy, what we like get to be known back for. And Gemini is like the communicator. So it makes sense that I used to work in a marketing career. So anyway, yeah, I merged it all, which is why I call myself a transformational healer and new paradigm spiritual business coach. Because the way I work with people now is like, my ideal client is that burnt out, high achieving woman who wants to support her health at the same time as, you know, launching their biz, growing their biz, whatever it is, in line with their human design, their astrology. I'm a breathwork practitioner as well. Charlotte's done lots of my breathwork, and we do lots of inner child healing and all the different things. So this is who I am, super into energetic. So a lot of what I'm going to speak about today is more energy. Oh yeah, and that's what I want to say. So I very much came from a bro marketing background. Like, I was coming on a Monday, how did we trade at the weekend? What we're going to do differently, drive some sales for this weekend. It was like, go, 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 go. It's like bro marketing. So when I launched my business, I was so bro marketing. So when we launched, I look back, it's absolutely hilarious. But like the language I used, like I just look back and I'm just like, oh my God, what was I doing? Like it worked, don't get me wrong. Like I launched my business, the very first month in business, I had a 5K UK month, which is like really good for someone. I had 800 followers on Instagram, and I suddenly put it open, like, I'm available for you to work with me, and I made 5K, and it was amazing. But it was like, yeah, because I burnt myself out. And now I'm very much into working with feminine energetics and like business energetics as a whole as well. So breathwork is incredible, amazing, thank you. So yeah, this is who I am. Leo North Node is also important. So Leo North Node is like who we're here to become, by the way. So yeah, I used to like have a fear of being seen, and I was also really serious. Like I used to joke at work, and like people used to laugh, but it's like I used to joke that I don't like fun, because I was like dead serious. Like, I'm not saying hi to anyone. I like be go, 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 go all the time, and like leaning into my Leo North Node, like that creativity, being a bit playful, and actually being seen as me as well. So when I launched my most recent podcast, I used to have a podcast called Embrace Your Feminine Essence. And that still exists. I'm just not recording for it at the moment. But when I launched my iconic podcast a couple of months ago, I was like, it's going on YouTube because I'm here to be seen, which was really overwhelming. 2 years ago, sorry, I'd also say this. If I'm speaking too fast, please tell me, because like I go fast. But when I launched my business, I wouldn't put my name on the Instagram account. Like I launched it. It took me 6 weeks to do like go on my stories. Like the other thing I want to just say for anyone who's like in a place of my God, launching a business is so daunting. It's scary. Like I had zero self-confidence. I had so much imposter syndrome. I had so many fears, and it's all possible to work through. So I'll just say that while we're here. So anyway, as I touched on before, thank you, Chelsea. I'm really passionate about business without burnout. I'm a projector. I've always built my career on and built my self-worth on how much I did, not who I be. And that's obviously then led to these behaviors that have led to me like completely burning myself out. And as we know, you know, without going too deep into it, all these things come from childhood. So, you know, only time I felt I got recognition from my parents was on academic success. So I became this like academic workaholic, you know, had to get the A's, had to get the first class degree, had to do all that kind of stuff, and just burnt myself out. So I'm really, really passionate about helping women create businesses without it burning themselves out. Because when we burn ourselves out, this is what I did. I worked for 4 months, was amazing, burnt myself out, needed like 3 months to recover. So we can't run sustainable businesses when we keep burning ourselves out and then need to take time off. Maybe we can when we're like super successful and we've got loads of different programs driving passive income and we're not relying on like money day to day. But really, we need to look after ourselves. We need like mindset strategies and all the different things to create businesses sustainably. So I don't know why it's not responding to my arrow. It doesn't like my arrow today. So quick one. Sorry, I did too many then. Soulmate versus soul aligned. Just a quick one. Why you use any language you want, guys. The reason I've called this soul aligned is my husband's my soulmate. And it feels a little bit like weird calling all my like clients soulmates. So I use the word soul aligned. And the other reason why is because I don't believe every single client that comes into our space needs to be a soulmate. Not every single client needs to be someone that we're like, I want to go to dinner with you, I need a drink with you, particularly if you're running courses, particularly if you're like, you're a product owner and you've like got things people are going to buy. They're not all going to be soulmates, but I think it's really important they feel soul aligned. They have like similar values. They're interested in similar things. Like, you just feel like you gel. Some of our clients will really, 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 really feel like soulmates. But if you're running a group program, you've got 15 people in it, only a couple of those might be like soulmates. And the other 13 might just feel really soul aligned. You love being in their energy. They don't feel depleting to you and all the different things, but they're not necessarily going to turn into your best friend. So that's the other thing. As business owners, we need some sort of boundary. So yeah, I use soul aligned. If you prefer soulmate, please do use it. And that's just for me. And also, I also want to say it's okay to have different soul aligned clients for different offers. So your soul aligned client so if we've got any coaches here, coaches, healers, anyone that's working one-to-one with people, your soul aligned client for your highest touch container, one-to-one container, isn't necessarily going to be the same person who's your soul aligned client coming into a low cost masterclass, for example. They may be, they'll likely have different, like, similar values, but we're not always with all of our offers speaking to the same people. We're sometimes speaking to different people in different ways. So we're going to do an exercise right at the end where we're going to connect to our soul aligned client. So you can think about like a particular, you may want to start with your highest touch one-to-one, but then you're going to launch certain programs. Like I've just said, my one-to-one is a business client. That's who I'm really here to help, but I'm going to bring out this program, which is also going to support people in corporate, and it doesn't make, do you know what I mean? So different soul aligned clients for different things. With all that said, I think now we get into the actual teaching. So thank you for your patience in listening to me ramble there. So attracting our soul aligned clients, we do need to get clear on who they are, but really attracting them is less about them and more about you. It's who you be and how you present yourself, all different things. And that's what we're going to really talk about. So coincidentally, there's 10 steps to this. Now, I haven't called this 10 steps to attracting your soul aligned clients because it does feel a little bit bro marketing, but it just sort of happened there were 10 steps. So I quite like it. So first things first, when we want to attract our soul aligned clients, we need to get really clear on our why and our mission. And I gave that example up front about why I think that's important for us. So in terms of me, I was really clear of my why and my mission. And then I kind of let other outside forces come in and make me question things, and ended up going with like a different target. And what happens when we do that, when times get tough, and they will do, because not every day in business is going to be perfect, connecting back to our why and our mission is going to what keeps us going. When we've got like friends and family doubting us and telling us like we need to go back to our corporate job or whatever it is, like we need to be really clear on why we're doing this. And when we're creating content, so we're going to talk about content in a bit, but when we're creating content for a mission and a why that isn't really yours can feel really hard. Like when I was doing the fertility stuff, and I know we've got someone here that's been through IVF. I've never been through IVF. But like I was having to create that content because that was an ideal client for me. Do you know what I mean? Ideal, like I'm saying ideal, not soul aligned. That was an ideal client for me, this IVF journey. But it wasn't something I'd been through myself, and I couldn't really speak into it. So then it always felt like hard creating this content. When we're really, really tapped into our why and our mission, and it's like, it's the thing that is really lighting us up, and is what we really want, the change we want to make in the world. Content creation is so easy. Like it just comes through, and it's like you just speak into all these different things and it gets really easy. So that's the first thing, be clear on your why and your mission. I would also say, and I was talking to a client in Voxer about this on the weekend, so I'm just going to say it now. If you want to become a coach, if we've got any coaches here watching the replay, don't do it for the money. So we were chatting about this in Voxer, that there's some like, the coaching industry is kind of getting a little bit crazy. When I launched my business 2 years ago, it was talking about 5K months, then they became 10K months, then they became 30, 40, 50K months, then it became 100K months, and now I'm hearing a million K months. Amazing. I'm celebrating these people that are making it. But what I'm starting to notice is a lot of the people that are in it for the money don't care as much about the people. And there were examples, I won't show the examples. These examples my client was saying to me, and I was like, this is such an important point, because when we're doing it from that place, how do I want to say this delicately, like without offending anyone? And I'm not going to offend anyone here, but in case, anyway, I'll end it there. Don't do it for the money. Do it because it's your strong why and your mission. And because the other thing linked to that is, the way we keep seeing all this on the internet is also people believing they're going to be that like in a year or, straight away. And it's not necessarily going to happen. And one of my clients I was trying to, she was like, we've only just kicked off, we're like in second or third week. And I was like, we need the plan. Like, what are we aiming for? And she was like, I want to be part-time in 2024. And I was like, oh my God, like, can I celebrate you for that goal? Because so many people be like, I want to be full-time at the end of this 3-month container together, Linda. And I'd be like, woo. So that's the other thing. It can take a little bit of time. It can happen so much quicker. But we need to stay. It might take time. There may be lows. We may have a really good month. They may have a really low one. And we need to keep ourselves going. We need to be really attached to that why and mission. So let desire lead the way. Don't build a business that you think is going to make you money. Build a business based on your why and how you want to help people. And think about how much bigger it is than just that person that you're helping. Like, think about how it's going to impact their family, their friends, and then the collective as a whole and like beyond. So when I was focused on health and nutrition, if I was helping somebody with their gut health, so they were bloated all day long, and I was helping them with their gut health. I wasn't just helping them like not feel bloated. I was helping them improve their sex life, because when we're all bloated and we feel yucky about ourselves, we're not going to have sex. So I was like helping them improve their sex life, blah, blah, blah. When I was helping people have babies, probably said this to Charlotte before in one of our sessions, when I was helping people have babies, it's like, I wasn't just thinking about helping this person have the baby they've been wanting for the last 5 years. I was helping them birth the next world leader that was good. I've got full body goosebumps. That was going to help create world peace. Like, this is the sort of thing I'm like tapping into. It's like, it's so much bigger than you think. So like, if I'm like, I want to increase someone's self-worth, it's not just about self-worth. It's like all the impact that's going to have on the rest of their life. They're not going to stand for that relationship anymore that they've been in, where the guy isn't treating them right. They go after the career of their dreams. It's all the different things that lead on. So think big. Think bigger than you think is big. Do you know what I mean? Like, just keep thinking bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay. Number 2, embodiment. So I was in meditation it was around March time, I think, from memory. And I was really trying to connect. And this is when I was in this thing, like, do I pivot into like the business mentoring and like fusing the health and the business together or not? And I was in this meditation, and it really clearly came through, and it said, all that I teach, I am. And I loved it so much. Like, I wrote it down. I've got it on a piece of paper there. It's in front of me, like every single day. It's like, all that I teach, I am. Like, we want to teach from a place of something that we're truly embodying, not from a place of, I know this, I have the knowledge for it, so I will teach it. Because when we're fully embodied, we then start to attract in our soul aligned clients. Even if they're not seeing us doing everything, you don't have to go on your stories and share absolutely everything you're doing each day. But when we're fully embodied, the energy comes through of what we're doing. So this is another reason. It's like, I'm telling my clients to have 3 fist-sized portions of cruciferous vegetables with their lunch and their dinner and XYZ. And I wasn't doing it, because I wasn't having the same health problems. I'm like, am I fully embodied in what I'm teaching people? I'm like, no, I'm not. But the stuff that I teach now, all of the different things I teach now, I'm so passionate about, I'm so embodied in it. So your life is the expression of your work. So how you live your life, the things that are important to you in your life, I use breath work. I practice my breath work. if you're a breathwork teacher that doesn't practice your breath work, you're not embodied in it, don't do it, etc. That's just an example. But yeah, so truly embodying everything that you do, just keeping an eye on the time there, because to make sure I'm told, but I think we're good on time. So start to think about, and this, I'm saying this before we think about the soul aligned clients, because it's really like, okay, what is it daily? What are the tools that I use daily? What are the things I'm passionate about? What am I researching about? How am I living my life? If you're a business coach that wants to attract paying full clients, am I paying for my business coaching in full? If I'm a business coach, do you work with a business coach? That'd be the other thing I would say as well. But yeah, are you fully embodied? Next, branding as an expression of you, not what you think your clients will like. So let me just have a quick sip of my coffee. Another mistake I made when I launched. So coming from like a branding background, this is a big difference where we like move from the corporate land to being a solopreneur, is particularly if you're like a coach, a mystic, a healer, like the person that's like, you know, the person that's being seen like the face of the brand. When I launched, I was like, right, it's funny, I'm wearing pink today, but I do like pink. I'm working in women's health, so I need to use the color pink because that's like feminine and it like ties in with the menstrual cycle and hormones. Like it feels girly, it feels like women's healthy. And so like my branding was all pink and white. And I used to buy those packages where you can buy a load of Instagram templates. So they were like things and you just change the fonts and stuff. And it was fine. You know, I was recognizable as a brand. People would see my posts come up and they would be like, oh, it's a post from Linda, so I'll engaging it. But something that I started to do this year, I can't remember when it happened, a few months ago, is I started to rebrand in line with who I am and the outwards expression. And this is the work I did with my mentor, Aisha from Oath Oracle. So I want to make sure I'm giving credit to the people that have helped me on this journey, by the way, as we go. So our branding is the interface between like us and our client. It's the way that they're going to like connect with us. So here's a few astrology branding codes that different people teach different things, by the way. So some people say brand on your sun sign. Some people say brand on your rising sign. This is what has felt good for me. So this is personal, but you get to play with it. So this isn't an astrology lesson. I'm not going to go into astrology, but your sun is like the light you're here to shine. So looking at the themes of your sun sign. So what is your sun sign? And then where it sits in the chart. So as I say, my sun is in Taurus and it's in the 8th house. So Taurus is like luxury. It's the 5 senses. It's embodiment. It's these different things. 8th house is like Scorpio vibe. So it's like depth and intimacy. And so I moved from like this pink to like this like marble, which is like, because it felt like Taurus, you could go like leaves and plants and you could do that route. But I was like, I wanted like really luxury like products. So marble, and then like these Scorpio kind of themes as well. So yeah, so dark, that kind of thing. And your Venus sign is like our unique beauty, and it's like things that we're attracted to and how other people are attracted to us, like what people want to pay us for. But Venus very like travels very close to the sun, so you'll probably find that your sun and your Venus, very likely your sun and your Venus are in the same houses, unless like you're on a cusp and you might have them different ones, but they may likely be the same sort of sign and house. And then your rising sign. So your rising sign is like the physical manifestation of your body. It's like your appearance. It's the vessel of your purpose. So it's like how you like show up. So like looking at that as well. So like I'm a Virgo rising. So my feed is going to look very like put together and like samey, because that's kind of a very Virgo thing. But yeah, they're things you can play with. There's so much more you can play with, but let's see what's in the chat. Oh, your Scorpio sun. I'm Aquarius moon. I love it. Love it. So yeah, start to think of your branding like it's an expression of yourself. If you're a product-based owner, we haven't got any product-based owners here, so apologies I'm not talking about it because I'm sort of feeling like I'm speaking to who's in the room. But yeah, if you're a product-based owner, it's a little bit different, but I think it should still tap in with like your mission and your message and like your why as a business owner. So, you know, for example, one that I use quite a lot is like people like have a journal. So if you're like a brand that has, in fact, do I come on to that? I think I'll come on to it in a minute. But yeah, so if you like have a journal business, like how it's an expression of you, I think would be like a nice example. Yeah, my triple Leo queen, Charlotte. Yeah, Gemini, the communicator. And the other thing you can look at as well is like where you're, so specifically for how you show up on social media, you could look at third house stuff as well, because third house is like the home of social media. So it might be something else to like tie in, but if it all starts getting too complicated, it's like you're taking in too much stuff, just start off with your sun. Is the light you're here to shine. And I'm not a Gene Keys expert at all. In fact, I don't really engage in it. I've got a book and I send photos to my clients of their Gene Keys. But yeah, they say like your sun is like 70% of like you really. So yeah, the sun, your Venus and your rising, that's just something that feels good to me. Who do I want to go to next? The next thing is coding your offers, your products and your containers. So this is something that I really believe in, is that words hold frequency. And I actually just did a mini podcast on this that went out yesterday. Should have been today actually. Put it out early because I had this on this morning. But if you're not familiar with the water experiment already, Google the water experiment. I'm sure you may be, but it's where the guy always gets his name wrong. But when he like was looking at how words affect water, so an example that I use on the podcast is where he wrote certain words on a piece of paper and stuck them to like glass jars and then froze the water. And the words that had like really beautiful, like uplifting, nice undertones to them, such as like, I don't know, I can't remember what the words were, but like beautiful, magnificent, or whatever it is. They had really beautiful crystalline formations. And the ones that were like ugly words, like literally like ugly, mean, harsh, whatever the words were, and they had really ugly ones. So if you just put it into YouTube and you can watch little videos on it, but we're like 60-70% water. And so if words have an impact on water in that way, words have an impact on us as well. So words hold a frequency, they create change in our body. So if you've got like a one-to-one offer, for example, instead of like just saying join me for my 60-minute one-to-one offer, whatever it is, like coding that container with a certain name helps give that container a certain frequency. And so what I do is I have different names for different containers. So I have my 60-day intensive, and that's called Ignite, because that is really that energy of like, we're going hard for 60 days. We're going to ignite this change in you. And then my like 6-month Fierce Feminine Ascension program is, it's really about like, I've got the word feminine in because feminine energetics and having that masc femme balance, which is something I didn't have. So I used to be totally in my masculine, and it's why I launched that first podcast, Embrace Your Feminine Essence. And this is something I'm going to do. I'm going to have a masc femme module in the program that's coming up actually, because it's something I'm really passionate about. But yeah, making sure that we're ascending, but in feminine ways. That there's different words that I use to create an activation in people. And then also if you have, you know, if you're a product business and you've got like product descriptions in there, like thinking about the words that you're using there, if you've got application forms to work with you, what's the activation you want to cause through that, through the words in that application form? My words go wrong. So thinking about words and thinking about how they hold frequency and create a change is super powerful as well. Yes. The other thing that I really like to do is create a soul-aligned client altar. So for example, when I was launching my Fast Track Your Fertility program, I used to have an altar space where I would have, you know, certain crystals on there and all different things. But I even used to, when I used to like chat with people, so I used to do that, this process of run a free masterclass, sell up to a program. So I would have this like space and I'd have all the names of all the people that signed up for my free masterclass. And then I would like feel into different names of like who I thought was actually going to come through and end up being in the program. And I would like write their names down on a piece of paper. And then as I'd like chat to people in the DMs and I'd started to feel who my warm leads were, this is a little bit creepy, but I used to like go on their Instagram and screen grab a photo. And then I used to put all their photos on a piece of paper. And I'd be like, so say, for example, I was like manifesting 12 people into my program and I could feel like some of these people, I'd literally pop their faces on and it was in front of my desk and I'd just like look at them and I'd just like feel them come into my container. But you can do it like with lists of names as well. But like, that is like a little bit weird, but it really works for me. It's like having this altar where it's like a space where it's like you're really connecting to those soul aligned clients. So you can put different things on there. So say, for example, you've got a launch and you've got like a specific financial target. You can write a check to yourself and put that number on there and like set that intention. That's the amount of money that comes through, like this or something better. You can put physical cash on there. You could have, if it's like a one-to-one client, for example, and there's a certain keywords of like the type of person they are. So like for me, you know, ambitious, self-leader, go-getter, these different words that I can put through on a piece of paper if like I'm manifesting in a new one-to-one client. So yeah, you can also put like gifts from Mother Earth onto that altar. You can also infuse water. So something that you can do, like you can do this daily, is you can get your glass of water and you can write underneath whatever it is you're manifesting. So, you know, group program, I want to make this much money. You can write that number on that piece of paper, put your glass of water on that piece of paper and just let it infuse for a couple of hours and before you drink it. And then as you drink it, you can like see, like infuse your body with that coming into you. Or if it's, you know, you're in a launch for a program, you could get like a Kilner jar so you can have a lid on it closed and fill it with water and then write whatever it is on the piece of paper and put that jar on there and then leave it how many days, like 7 days, for example, and then drink it. So you can actually infuse your body with whatever it is. So yeah, I'm a little bit hippie, but I live at altar. Sorry, just drinking my coffee before it goes completely freezing cold. And then the next one, thank you for sticking with me, guys. Need a bit of water. Be where you want to be, not where you think your ideal client is. If you're showing up with resistance, you'll repel your client. So when I launched my business, one of the many reasons I burnt myself out, there were a lot, is I came from, you know, big budget marketing background, running on what we call omni-channel campaigns. So it's where you've got different, you know, you're everywhere basically. We had TV ads, we had celebrity partnerships, we had, you know, press, radio, all the different things. I thought I needed to launch as a omni-channel business because it was my background. So I launched with Instagram, Facebook profile, a Facebook page, a Facebook group, Pinterest, email, and I launched, another thing that I did is I launched too early. So I wasn't doing that all by myself. So I launched, I brought an agency on board to support me within the first month. So they were doing it all for me. So I was like writing all the content, they were like posting stuff for me. But the problem was because there's multiple problems. So firstly, from a burnout perspective, the problem was because they were posting all this content for me, I was having to create so much. And I was a full-time mum at the time. I was literally just working in like nap times and before my husband went to work, when he got home, like I was working all the time. So yeah, like the physical process of having to create it all was too much, but also it wasn't my energy in those spaces either. So like I would create Instagram stuff and they would like change it for Pinterest and it like wasn't my energy coming through. So there was that thing there of like it just not being mine. But lastly, just coming on to the, like, I'm going to give the Facebook example. I'm just not at one with Facebook. It's not a home I go to. It's not somewhere I enjoy being. I launched this group And I think I closed it within about 3 months. Then I launched my podcast and I was like, okay, I'll have a podcast group. And then what I was going to do is, I was like, the guests that came on my podcast, I was then going to do like an extra interview, like a little bonus, like Q&A in the Facebook group as well. And it didn't even make it through a month, because it's just like, it's not where my energy wants to be. And so I was showing up with resistance to be in those spaces. I feel most at home on my podcast. I absolutely love it. Someone said to me when I was doing my Embrace Your Feminine Essence one, they were like, do they work? Like, is there any point doing them? And I was like, if I could just podcast all day long, I would, because as you can tell, I'm a talker. Like I'm a Gemini MC, I'm a communicator. Like, it's what I love doing. Other people love writing. So you may be like, I really want to have a blog and I just want to like write content. And so it's working out the channel where you love to be. So for me right now is like, my first channel is ultimately, I use Instagram, but my home is my podcast. And that's when, if I want to riff on something, I'll record an audio and like drop it on there, because Instagram is just too short form for all my words. It's like, I've got so much to say and I always feel like I have to like restrict myself and make me small. And like, obviously I am using Instagram. I get a lot of my clients do Instagram. It's incredible. But for my long form content, my podcast is my home. It's where I get to speak more. I guess where I have conversation as well. So like, where I get to interview other people, and like, I just love it. So think about where you want to be and don't feel like you need to be everywhere. So TikTok's the other example. It's like, if you think your ideal client's on TikTok, but you hate TikTok and you feel real resistance to being there, you're going to repel anybody anyway with the energy that you're showing up with. So be in the places that really light you up, that you really enjoy. And yeah, I've got more to say on this in the next one, actually. So that's the first thing. Think about where you want to be. So is it blog? Is it podcast? Is it you love to talk, but you don't want to run your own podcast? It's like, actually, I love to have conversations. One of my strategies is just going to go on getting on loads of other people's podcasts. I don't want my own. That feels like a chore, but I want to go and have conversations. I want other people to interview me. So it could be that as well. But yeah, is it Facebook? Is it Pinterest? Is it Instagram? Where is it? And then the other thing linked to that is, in fact, no, hang on a minute. Let me just see what the next one is. I'm going to say this first. And creating from abundance and overflow as well, not from depletion. So like, choose where you want to be based on where you enjoy being, and only create the content when you're in an expansive state, when your cup feels really full, when you feel overflowing, when you just can't wait to communicate a message, like you're just like desperate to get it out there. Communicate from that space, because what you'll notice you do is, as you create content from there, be it creating an online program, writing content for a sales page, doing an Instagram post, recording a podcast, whatever that is. When I say content, it's all the different things, writing an email. When you're coming from this really expansive, overflowing, cupful space, the transmissions that come through you are going to be so much stronger, and the interaction you get from people are going to be so much stronger. Having said that, if you do put your heart and soul into a piece of content and it, like, in inverted commas, doesn't work, you don't get great engagement, you don't know it hasn't worked. It may not have worked on the metrics of like what our ego likes to see in terms of like success, but it could have worked if it found that one person who like then becomes completely obsessed with you and then like signs up to work with you for 6 months, then extends for 6 months, and you end up working with them for 10 years time. Like, you can't say it hasn't worked. So that'd be another thing, is don't delete something if you don't think it hasn't done well. I'm just going on tangents left, right, and center here, but we can't judge success by likes, shares, comments, all the different things. It's about reaching that one person that then creates this change in your life. And that person might come 2 years down the line. So for example, Charlotte's here. Charlotte found me in 2020 when I was on a podcast, followed me for like 2 years before she then reached out and was like, can I work with you one-to-one? So like, you never know like what that one thing has done. Like, there's no way for you to know what impact it had. So that was something I wanted to say as well. So always create from an expansive place. Might come up to that in a minute. Also, this is where I say, like, I'm so new paradigm, so not bro marketing these days. Co-create your content and your offers with the divine, not from answerthepublic.com. So I see people going, right, think of your ideal client. And then if you don't know what to say, go on answerthepublic.com and see what they're like, what people want, and then create a content in line with that. if that's not coming like through your channel as something that's like on your heart that you really want to get out there, yeah, it could help with your SEO, people find you, all the different things. But is it going to call in your soul aligned clients? Because this is what this is about. Is it going to call in your soul? If you're talking about something you don't even care about, is that going to attract in soul aligned clients? Probably not. When you're like really tapped into the divine, if you're trusting your divine downloads, if you trust the messages that are coming through are because someone else wants to hear them. So Amy Lee, who's my other mentor, Amy teaches that when that our ideas are someone else's manifestations. So say you get an idea for an online program, it's like that's yours to create because someone else is trying to manifest it right now. And if you don't create that content, if you don't run that women's circle, if you don't do that XYZ, whatever it is, if you don't do it, the universe is going to have to find someone else to do it because someone's trying to manifest it right now and you're cock blocking their manifestation. So that was like first thing. And the same, if you're getting a download from the universe, it's like someone needs to hear this right now. It's like my duty to create this content. So tapping into that is, again, it's going to create so much more depth. So trust your divine downloads. If you don't get divine downloads, and I'm sure all of you that are live here now, you do, but if you don't get divine downloads, creating space to open up your channel so that you can get them is really important. So this is another thing that I'll teach in the burnout program, is when we are in our masculine all the time and we are go, 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 you know, like we come here and like, right, I need to sit down because I need to write a post today. Because I said I'd post 5 days this week. So I must sit in here and post, and you'll just sit there in this silence and nothing's coming through. It's like, well, I'll go and answer to public.com and see what people want to know. Then nothing's going to come through. To tap into our intuition, to tap into the divine, we need to get ourselves into a flow state. So whatever it is that helps you do that. So if it's going for a walk in nature, if it's doing the cooking, if it's putting on some music and dancing, doing something to change your state so that you get out of your head, like getting into your body. So like breath work, any kind of embodiment exercise. So like self-massage, self-pleasure, do I dare even say on here, like doing something that gets you into your body and out of your head. And then like putting on some beautiful music, lighting a candle, whatever it is. I tend to not recommend candles, essential oils. Not great things that come off when we burn candles, but diffuse some essential oils, get yourself in that like flow state and like really tap into the divine and trust what comes through. If you're completely stuck, by all means, go towards the public, find something that really lights you up and you feel excited about. But I personally have never been on it and don't intend to, and don't recommend my clients do. So yeah, create content from the divine and just trust that somebody's manifesting that information to come through. And if the numbers aren't great, still trust that the person that needed to see it found it, and you warming them up to come into your world. And then, like I said, create from abundance and overflow, not from depletion. So whatever that is, like I had a client run a women's circle last week, and she was like, kept trying to sit down to do this sales page, and there was constantly a block. She's like, I can't write the sales page. Nothing's coming through. And she tried loads of different things and it wasn't working. She was like, do I need a sales page? And I'm like, no, you don't need a sales page. Just put it on your stories. You're in a women's circle. Like, you'll get the right people through. So if it's just not coming through, it's not coming through. But like I say, try those other things first, you know. And also like, don't go into think that you need to create a program from a depleted state as well. Like, don't create anything from a depleted state. Like, making sure that you're really like filling your cup and looking after yourself as well is super important. And, you know, if you're like, I keep forgetting to talk about products. Sorry, I said I talk about products and I'm not doing it because you're not. Hang on a minute. Someone wrote to me in chat. Are any of you product owners? Yeah. Yes. Love it. Yeah, so any product owners here, if you're like, oh, I need to create a Christmas offer because like we need to like a Christmas product, again, don't try and force something, because if we're trying to force something because it's like a have to, what we bring through is never going to sell as well. So we need to make sure that we're really tapped in and we're doing it from like the joy and stuff like that. So yeah, it's another one. How are we doing for time? We're nearly there. I'll get through last couple quick. The meditation that we're going to do to connect with our soul line clients, I'll literally keep it to like 3 minutes, guys. So I just want to make sure we fit that in. Number 9, fully embody your pricing and never be in the energy of convincing. I had this as 2 different things to start with, but then I was like, actually merge them. There are clients at every single price point. So if you are, there's a whole like money practice that I take people through. So I'm not going to do that now, but what I will say is, if you are pricing based on what you think people are available to pay, are they the words? And it's not embodied. Okay, like, let me start the sentence again. So if a price comes through of what you want to offer a container for, but then you start to get the fear and think people aren't going to pay for it, so then you drop the price, you're not going to call in your solar line clients, because your solar line clients wanted to pay that amount. So perfect example for this, I discovered this woman on Instagram. I was like really lit up by her. I found like really excited by her, loved her. Saw she was doing like a 6-month mastermind like this year. And I was like, oh, amazing, actually, let's have a look at this. I saw the price and I'm like, that's just not expansive for me. Like, that isn't the level that I'm at investing in people. Like, that's too low. And so I didn't end up investing in it. It was probably an incredible mastermind, but I was like, oh, like I need, when I invest in my mentors, like I need an expansion. So my mentor I'm working with next year, I saw her talk about stories. She was like available for 6 months. And I messaged her and I was like, can I sign up can I sign up for 12? Like, can I do 12 months? Because 12 months is such an activation for me. It feels like scary as hell, but that's like going to step me into my next level of power. So yeah, don't feel like you need to drop your prices to bring your solar aligned clients. Like, your solar aligned clients wants to pay you what you want to pay. There's a whole money exercise that we could go through, we haven't got time for, but feeling really grounded in that price, and then never being in the energy of convincing. So neediness attracts neediness, scarcity attracts scarcity. So if you are like feeling needy and like someone like DMs you about it, and then it's like, oh, I can't afford it right now, just say, no problem, completely understand, get back in touch when the money's right. Or, you know, whatever the example is, like, don't be like, oh my God, I might not get another sale, so I better drop my price for it. Because what you'll do is you'll bring in like really like needy scarcity people, and they'll be really heavy to hold. And I say this from experience. So on my 40th birthday, I did a 40% off offer of my services. 40% is a lot, as you know. And what I did is I ended up bringing people into that container at the 40% discount who were like looking at it from like an hourly rate. So my one-to-one is, you get your weekly call and you get your like unlimited Voxer to me. Like, you're paying for like a whole 3-month package with me where I'm available all the time. You're getting that proximity to me. You're getting all these different things. And I remember sitting on a call, this one person who got this 40% discount and saying something about, it's costing me this much this week. And she was seeing it as like her call, and she wasn't thinking about all the WhatsApp support I was giving her and all the other stuff. And I was just like, this is just not the energy that I desire to be around. So yeah, don't try and convince anybody. If they're not ready, people will lead themselves into your containers when they're ready. People will buy when they're ready. Product-based business owners example, talked about this in my podcast, but for example, when I talked about trusting your divine downloads, if you get a divine download that you want to create a beautiful hardback journal or planner or whatever it is, and it comes through and it's like, you can visualize what it looks like, and it's like $100, and it's this like gorgeous thing that people have, and then that's what you want to create, and then you go into, oh, but no one's ever going to pay $100. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a different version that's like $20, because then I'll get more sales. Well, firstly, if you then start to create it, you're not going to love it because it's not what you had the divine download for. It's not going to attract your soul line clients, because your soul line clients don't want the $20 one. They want this $100 like luxury item that they're going to have. And they, because I keep looking at mine because I've got like this like thing, it costs me like £80 each year when I buy it, but I absolutely love it. And yeah, and then you're more likely to get like people complaining about it, because if you're not creating it to the standard you wanted to create it, you may find like, for example, your paper's thinner than you want and it's starting to rip, or you know, you wanted to have like metal edges on it to like make it really good, but then you don't because you want to save on costs, and then the corners start to like tear. Do you know what I mean? Like it starts to become a bit like worn, and then people like complain about the quality of it, and then there are people asking for refunds and all different things. So trust in what comes through. It's this time of the trust divine downloads. Trust in what you want to create. Trust the pricing is right pricing, and never be an energy of convincing. I think that's all I want to say. Lastly, be the CEO, not a social media account. So the other way like you burn yourself out and how you don't attract in soul aligned clients is if, for example, you are in your DMs giving a load of free advice. I used to do this all the time. So someone messaged me, I lost my period. How do I get it back? Here's how you get it back. This is all the things that you need to do. Is that person going to buy from me? No, because I give them a load of free advice in the DMs. Now, lost my period. How do I get it back? Fast track your fertility program will be amazing for you. Go grab it. Obviously, I don't really promote that anymore, but do you know what I mean? It's like making sure you've got those boundaries. So if you're running $1 million business, how would you show up? Having strong boundaries, showing up as a leader, having strong self-worth, all these different things are super important. You've not just got a social media account where you're just there, like your social media, your podcast, whatever channel, your email, whatever it is, you are giving so much free content day in, day out. People can go and binge watch all of that stuff that you've put out there. Your job is then not to go and give free advice in the DMs. You can like empathize with them for what they're going through. You know, Linda, launched my business, haven't made £1 yet. It's been 3 months. Great. I've got all these different ways you can work with me, from my one-off business intensive to my 3-month program to my 6-month program. Let me know if any of them fits for you. Not, okay, what I recommend you do is start doing this, blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? So show up as a CEO, not a social media account. And that's going to then start to attract in your soul aligned clients. I actually had, funnily enough, I'll give this other example. I had a client who had been through, had she been through my fertility? I don't know if she had. Anyway, she'd been in my DMs loads. She kept asking for advice and stuff. Is when I was doing the fertility. And she eventually messaged me and said that she wanted to do a Dutch hormone test with me. I think that's what it was. And then she was like, then can I do something one-to-one with you? My budget, she literally messaged me like, my budget's £50. And at this point, like an intensive with me, so you could work with me for 3 months, or my intensive, my like nutrition intensives where I do 2 hours with them, and then I do this huge like 40-60 page plan. At this point, it was like 888 or something to do it with me, because the more I did it, the more I was like realized like how much work it was to create these big plans. So she'd gone from like saying like £50, like she had a £50 budget, to her paying for that and doing a Dutch hormone test with me, blah, blah, blah. And she ended up spending over £1,000 with me. So that was the other thing as well. Probably like a pricing example. Like if people really, really love you, if they're like they really want to be in your energy, they'll pay to be there. So that was a slight other one, but it's kind of linked. Like show up, like, no, I won't do anything for £50. This is my price. If you want to do it, do it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. So that's my 10 things. I hope I covered everything I wanted to cover in my head. I hope you enjoyed it. If everybody has got 5 minutes, can we just connect to our soul aligned clients? Give me a nod. Yeah. If you've got any questions, I know we're going to run out of time probably. People want to leave. If you've got any questions off the back of any of this, please like just drop me a DM in Instagram, because you all know my Instagram. But if anything's come up specifically when I'm saying like don't give free advice in the DMs, that's a little bit different because this is specific to the masterclass and we've run out of time. So if you've got any questions on this, like please do drop me a message, like don't be scared. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take us through a very short connecting with our ideal client process. So get yourself comfy, close your eyes, all the different things. You find a track that I want to play. Yeah, amazing, thank you. Okay, close your eyes down, nice and comfy. Take a nice deep breath in Open mouth, exhale, just release anything that's come through today, any chatter in your head. Get yourself really grounded. Take nice deep belly breaths. Fill your rib cage, your lungs. Get your breath to a level that feels really good to you. And we're going to start connecting to our clients. So I really want you to start to feel now into your client, your soul-aligned client that you really want to support, be that in-person events, online coaching, creating a product that they absolutely love. Start to try to visualize them in front of you. I want you to see where they are in this exact moment right now. They haven't worked with you yet. They haven't got whatever it is that you offer. They haven't been able to change their life through your product, your offer, your service. Where are they? And I want you to think like really, really deep, like as bad as it gets. Like, you know, they could be on the bathroom floor crying their eyes out. Feel into like where they are. Any pain that they're going through. We don't mark it to pain, but it's good for you to understand where they are. Because then when you start to feel how you move them, where you get them to, it starts to feel really powerful. When you start speaking into that transformation, you can get them. If you struggle to connect in this exercise, by the way, everybody, it's a muscle that we need to practice with visualization. So don't judge yourself, just sit and breathe and just see if anything comes through. Can't physically see them, don't worry. Breathe into that, where they are now. In a moment, we're going to go back a little bit further. When you feel like you've nailed that, you've nailed where they are, I want you to go back to their childhood, because so much of what they want now is linked to something that happened in their childhood. And I want you to feel into where they are when there's a pivotal life event that starts to create patterns and behaviors in adult life that isn't serving them, the thing that you help them with. So for example, like you could help people who are in really codependent relationships who get treated really badly by partners and all those different things. And it could all have started when their dad left home and didn't want anything to do with them when they were a kid. Or, you know, for me, I never felt like I was worthy just by being me. I always felt like I had to be doing and achieving, and my worth was based on how hard I worked and my grades that I got and all the different things. And that all started because that's what my parents modeled for me. Feel into where they are. And now I want you to take them 6 months in the future from where we are now. Think about where you've got them to. How have you transformed their life? I want you to, if you can, visualize them in front of you. I want you to see the huge grin on their face. You've got a product, you might have like a beautiful necklace around their neck, some clothes, whatever it is, your coach healing the stick. See where they are, what they're doing, how has their life transformed? I'm going to leave you here for 2 more minutes, just to breathe, and then I'll bring you back to the room. Beautiful. There's no rush, but whenever you're ready, you can start to blink your eyes open, come back to the room. Something I should have said somewhere in that presentation or before our meditation is something that I really believe in as well, is connecting with soul line clients from like an energy and values level rather than like an age demographic. So I was running this process with a client a couple of weeks ago and we were kicking off and going like, who is your ideal client? She's like, well, she's like maybe like 25, 27. Like, I know she's younger than me, but she's not as old as this and blah, 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 blah. And then and it's like, when you start to think about the transformation you get people, it's more about like when I was talking to her about what she helps people with, I was like, I could be your ideal soul line client. And I'm like 41. Like, because the thing that you help people with is just as relevant for me. There will be certain times, it's like, for fertility, for example, there's obviously a window of opportunity, but I was absolutely convinced that my client base would have been like 36 to like 42, because I had kids at 38 and 41. I thought, they're just people that have left it later in life. And the vast majority of people that were coming through were like late 20s, early 30s, because I didn't realize so many people were struggling so young and getting themselves stressed out about it. So yeah, think more about the energy. Like, I could help somebody who's like 25 and gone into corporate and absolutely hates it, or it could be like 65. They've just divorced their partner. They've never worked. And they've just, for example, done yoga for fun. And they're like, I want to be a yoga teacher. I want to launch my business. And I like actually want to have like, help women with osteoporosis. Do you know what I mean? Like the possibilities are endless. So yeah, try not to think about that. If anybody wants to share anything, I will cut it out of the recording before I share it. So please do. If you don't, no pressure to. I hope you enjoyed it and found it valuable. If we're not already connected, please let's connect. Here's all the different ways to find me, my website. Drop me an email or drop me a DM on Instagram if you'd like to explore working together, either one-to-one. I have my 60-minute intensive. I have VIP days. I have my 60-day Ignite program. I have my 6-month Fierce Feminine Ascension. There's so many different ways to work with me one-to-one. And yeah, listen to the podcast and all the different things. If you were like listening to that and you were like, actually, I really like the idea of your program, like that you've got coming up in like December, Jan, whenever I decide to launch it, like slide into my DMs, drop me a message, because I'm going to do a like secret offer to people that have been here. So it'll be like a fraction of what it'll cost. So if you're into like feeling burnt out, you want to support your health, work on, self-worth, receiving, money mindset and wealth frequency and all the different things that affect us with burnout, or you want to know more about it, drop me DM and I'll send you a super special discount. And as like a thank you for being here and for like being a go-getter and self-starter and all the different things. So yeah, thank you so much. So grateful for you. And drop me your biggest takeaways and the DMs. Oh, and also remember, share your stories and give me a tag if you want to win a 60-minute business intensive. Okay, lots of love.